Hello everybody, this is Oak Tree Tarot Reader here and welcome to my pick a card video. So this is another request that I'm recording. The question itself was broadly, how do I maintain my strength and balance and sense of peace at this time? Which to me really rang out as, how do I cope with the stress of it all? Which I think is a much better title and question to ask, a nice simpler, to the point question. So that's what I'm going to use as my title and as the theme of the video. How can you cope with stress? Now this is a timeless video, so you could refer to it at any point in your life when you're suffering from a bit of stress, finding it hard to cope. But it is being recorded at the time of COVID-19. So I think a lot of people you get used to the strangeness of not being able to leave your house, of everything being in lockdown, if that is what's happened to you in your area of the world. But also it's the restrictions more broadly, in that I think a lot of us are realising that although here in England we've been told it's a 3-week lockdown, it's going to be longer than that. There might be breaks, but our lives are going to be severely restricted for quite some time, months, maybe even up to a year, where we're suddenly forced to work from home and prevented from doing certain things. This really makes things difficult for a lot of people, economically, for countries and individuals, but also for us on personal levels. It's very psychologically and emotionally not damaging, but stressful. There's sudden uncertainty in our lives that wasn't there before. And not all of us can turn to the comfort of our families whilst this is going on. So it's stressful and upsetting, a bit lonely and a bit isolated. So I'm hoping that these readings, whichever one that you end up choosing, will help you to deal with that stress and to see the brighter side of things. Because no matter how desperate life seems at the moment to you, this is just a blip. Better things will come. And soon enough, you'll look back and think, thank goodness I got through that. But my life is so much better now, even for some of you, because you've gone through this. You'll come out a stronger and better person. Do never, ever doubt that. Do not doubt that, or yourself. So I want you to take a deep breath, let it out, get yourself in a nice, calm, relaxed place. And when you're ready, ask yourself the question, how do I deal with the stress of all this? When you feel ready, make your choice. I've put the timestamps in the description box and in the comment section. If you need a bit more time to do this, then please press pause, because I'm now moving on to the readings. Okay, those of you that chose number 1, the cross, here is your reading. I just realised I didn't actually say, number 1's the cross, number 2's the tree, number 3's the letter, but I'm going to presume that you're all sophisticated and experienced enough with pick a card videos to realise that. But anyway, you chose number 1, the cross, and successfully managed to get to the reading without my instruction. Well done you. So how do you cope with stress generally, or if you're watching this as a newly published video whilst the world is currently undergoing a rapid reset or change, I feel. I think for you, the major issue is that you're very, very frustrated, that you had plans, you had things you wanted to do, whether they were part of your normal day-to-day life or this was something brand new that you planned. Maybe you got a new job, maybe it was time for you to start work again, or to for some of you, a new relationship, or, so many things have been cancelled, weddings, christenings, all these sorts of things that would normally go on ahead cannot go ahead. You can't function as normal. And I think you're used to being outgoing and having things to do and keeping busy, and you're frustrated because you can't. You can't keep busy. You can't keep your mind and body occupied. I think you're probably a very active person. Gyms are closed. And if you haven't already got a few bits of equipment in your house, maybe you just live in a little flat, or you can't access the normal gym equipment as you would. and you're frustrated because of that, lack of physicality. And it would be stressful for you to be stuck indoors all the time. Even if you're used to being out part of the day and relaxed part of the day, you're now forced into an enforced relaxation. This just feels that everything that you would normally do, you can't do, and it's upsetting you. So I'm sorry about that, for whatever reason, and that it's come about. But the message for you to learn to deal with this is to accept it. It's happened. You can't leave the house and go to the gym. You can't leave the house and go to work. You can only leave the house to get food, or for a daily run, or to walk the dog. Or maybe you're lucky enough to be able to get out on your on your bicycle. Something like that. But you can't. It's not enough for you. I just feel that what you can get is sort of worse than not having it at all for some of you. But the message is that it's happened, and this is to build psychological strength in you. We could argue that this is the purpose for you specifically, is to build psychological strength in your mind to deal with limitation. Especially if you're somebody, who's not used to limitation, or at least not for a very long time, to be financially limited, environmentally limited, and limited physically. I get this feeling that, that some of you watching this are stuck on your own in the house. Maybe you're single. This is where it gets really bad, is that if you're a single person that lives on your own, you might have a pet, you might not. And the only sociability that you get is when you go to work and when you socialise with your friends. And you can't do those two things. You're stressed out. But you've got to accept it's happened. The Tower card. Your world has upturned. And you're getting frustrated, but there's still something you can do. There's still skin in the game. There's still something you can do in your environment that maybe it's not what you normally do. Maybe you're not particularly skilled at it. Maybe you're not used, It might be something you only do temporarily whilst this, like a temporary job. But you can do it and you can be useful at it. Or you could do something within your home. Like a lot of people are doing home improvement at the moment during this going on. Or for those of you that are watching this in the future and coronavirus is a few years in the past, whatever's going on in your life that's sort of stressing you out, there's other things apart from that you can do that can give you a psychological benefit, that can relax you, that can calm you, that can make you feel proactive and positive. Because this is really important, that you need to keep your positivity high. It's really difficult, I understand this, when you're stressed out, when you're doubtful of the future, when you're not sure what's going to be happening, to get in that zone. But you can and you must, because it's like the worst has happened. The Tower has fallen. It's been done. And what you need to do then is to... Oh, that scared me then, my candle's blown out. It's a shame. I was hoping till it lasts to the end of the video. I felt the smoke on my hand and I've completely disrupted my flow of what I was saying. I do apologise. It's happened. Now it's time for you to move on. And some of you are going to have to start again, and that's not pleasant for everybody. But you've got to see this as an opportunity for a new beginning, because that's what the Tower represents, a new beginning. The old has fallen. It probably wasn't very sturdy in your life anyway. That's why it's sort of collapsed, and the foundations will remain. And that's what's really valid in your life. That's really stable and will always be there. And so get past this frustration and turn the frustration and all that surplus energy you have into something positive. And I'm going to say it is connections with other people, because I feel that this is sort of you, that you're sleeping maybe more than usual, that you're not communicating with people, and you're not doing things as you normally would, and you're a bit isolated, but you're sleeping on it. You're missing something, because this is what always strikes me, particularly why I like this deck anyway, the Druidcraft tarot, is that he's this malevolent figure in the background, the devil, the dark, the primitive side of us, a side of us that likes naughty things but sometimes can like them too much. You know, a little bit does you good, you know, a little bit of naughtiness, a little bit of, you know, chocolate cake does you good. It's when you eat too much that's a problem. And that's always in the background of our lives, that we could at any one moment just really succumb to desires, which in small doses is fine. In too big doses is not good. And so I feel that there's something going on behind you that can bring you joy, but you actually have the strength to deal with it, but you're ignoring it. There's an opportunity here for you to do something that you're, in a sense, ignoring, turning your back on. You're sleeping through it. You're missing an opportunity. And I think this is how you're going to deal with the stress of it, is that you're going to find an opportunity and are going to focus on it. Because you've got to do things that bring you joy. And that's one of the things that the devil means to me, is, you know, the puck, the having fun, the being mischievous, being a bit naughty, but having a bit of fun. And the bacchanalian aspect of it, which is to have a drink and to relax and to, normally socialise, which some of you might not be able to do. But you can turn to other people and that will de-stress you. And we're very lucky that, you know, the medium that I am delivering this to you, you know, modern technology, I'm recording it on my phone. I'm going to send it through the internet on my computer to YouTube and upload it. And then you're going to receive it probably through your phone or your computer or your laptop or, you know, tablet computer or whatever. You can still be in contact with people through FaceTime, WhatsApp, Skype. But also you can still connect to people by writing things on the internet. You can still connect to people even if you can't physically socialise and be with them in the way we all prefer, which is face-to-face. And doing some sort of going out for a drink or having fun. So there is some things that you can do that are enjoyable to you. You need a sense of focus and purpose, something to do, something to spend your time and energy on. Maybe that can be volunteering out in the community. But you also need to do something that I feel you've neglected for a while, or that you're purposefully just sort of like, no, I'm not going to have anything to do that. But actually it's fun for you and it will be a good way of de-stressing. So it might be picking up an old hobby that you've not touched in years, or developing a new one that you've sort of thought about but never had the time before. Well, you have the time now. And if, again, this is not related to being stuck in the house, you just got a stressful situation, you need to de-stress by doing something that brings you happiness. And, you know, and you don't have to, you know, it sort of has no added value other than bringing you happiness. You know, it's like eating chocolate. We tell ourselves, oh yeah, there's good parts about eating chocolate, that's true, but at its core value, it's a very sweet and fattening product, but yet it brings such joy when we eat it. And biscuits and cake and junk food. So a little bit, don't go mad. You got to be kinder to yourself, but a big focus on this is acceptance. You must accept that this is the way it is, and you're going to stop fighting against it, because I feel this is a lot of frustration, is you're fighting and you're rattling the cages, the cage door, and there's no point. You might as well just relax, de-stress, look to something that you can occupy your time for this short amount of time. Things will be back to normal for you, whatever your situation. Things will go back to normal. You'll find a way through and you'll be back on an even keel. Do not doubt that. So those of you that chose the cross, that's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it helped you. Let me know in the comments section. I've been posting more in the community section of my YouTube channel just to keep in contact with you all. Check how everything's going, so have a look there. But yeah, like, share, subscribe, all the rest of it. If you want a private reading with me, you can get one. Just send me an email at oaktreetarotreader@gmail.com. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please take very good care of yourself. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay, number 2, those of you that chose the tree. How do you deal with the stress of this? And I'll repeat from the introduction. I'm thinking, because I'm recording it and uploading it whilst most of the world's in lockdown because of coronavirus, that's going to influence my reading. But it is open, it's a timeless one, and I will factor that in. So what can you do to deal with this stress? You have plenty of options, plenty of distractions, plenty of things to do. I feel that you're one of the lucky ones that you have lots of entertainments in your home, that you've got streaming services, TV, computer, games, whatever. There's a lot for you to do. This is a good reading from my perspective, because you can easily ward off and fight off any negativity and stress in your life. You don't have anything to stress about, really. And what you do actually have to stress about, you might be unfortunate to have lost your job. You're not sure what's going to happen in the future when you can get out to work, or you're self-employed and income's dropped, is that it's sort of, you can defend what you've got. You can defend against this negativity incentive. You can sort of preserve what you've got and, fight off all attackers. So I don't want you to stress in that way. But you're meant to de-stress is to get involved in something. And I'm saying there's lots of things for you to get involved in this particular reading. So it could be entertainment, it could be volunteer work, it could be getting out there and there's another job you could do. You're not helpless. And that's how you're going to deal with the stress, is because you've got action to take. And the it's a process of what can you do, where can you get involved, what's out there for you, keeping yourself occupied. It's being very busy. So I feel that, a lot of people can cope being at home and not having a lot to do. They'll read a book, they'll watch a bit of TV, they'll listen to some music. They might think, oh, thank goodness I can finally finish that project at home. Maybe you've been working, I've been doing lots of work in the garden because the weather's favourable and I like gardening. So you get out there and you do that kind of thing when you would normally be at work, or when you would normally be socialising. I don't think you'd be gardening at midnight, but I think you understand what I mean, is that there's other things for you to do in place of what you would normally do. If this is a situation outside of current events of April 2020, the way you de-stress is looking at your options, looking at the possibilities. You have lots of choices. That's no different. You can be active and get yourself out there. You can explore your hobbies. You can relax in that creative sense of, it's about doing. It's still about doing. It's about being active mentally and physically as much as you can, and not settling, because you have lots of choices. So get yourself out there and look, and you'll find one that matches and suits you really, really well. And again, this feeling of defending, it's like yourself. It's about defending your mental health. It's about defending what's important to you and protecting what's important to you. You're not going to collapse under the weight of this at all. You're just stressed out, I think, because something new's come in, or something has changed that you weren't expecting or that you didn't want. But you have options, which is, we all have options, but sometimes the options stink. You don't. I think you have great options, and it's really when all the things are coming up at you saying, no, we're going to come and, deal with this. And you're like, no, you on your own are going to successfully ward off and fight off the other 6 ones. You only need the one to keep that, at bay. You have immense power. You all have immense power, and recognizing that inner power, you have the inner strength you need. You just need to keep it supple by doing stuff. So if you're not getting it, let's say you can get, it's COVID back into April 2020, you can get out of the house once a day, perhaps for some exercise, or at least to get some fresh air, get your vitamin D. This is all very important for our mental and physical health. is you could do something different every day. You don't have to go walking to the same park. You can have a bit of an exploration in your local area as far as your legs will take you, or whatever the restrictions is wherever you are. You're only restricted by your own imagination and your own mental willpower. And a lot of you're not restricted in that way at all, because this is, from your perspective, an old video. So thanks for coming checking out my very old video, if that's the case. I'm not worried about you at all. You're just getting stressed out because you're bored. And what I want to tell you is there's no reason to be bored. You have everything you need to keep yourself occupied. Everything. It's just a temporary blip. And I think for a lot of you, it's about being able to physically get out of the house that's important. And for a lot of people in a lot of places, you can. Or if you've got a back garden, you can go into it. If you're in a little flat, you're sort of restricted, but at least sort of maybe if you've got lucky enough to have a balcony, open the doors and get out your face out into the sun. But you can still do exercise at home, and maybe that's one of the things you can do, because there's lots of different options to do exercises at home, thankfully, because of the internet. And I know you've got the internet because you're watching this video. Yeah, I'm not worried. I don't want you to worry either, because you can handle this stress. You just need to occupy yourself with something, a project, a new beginning. If you're looking for a brand new beginning, do not panic. You have got them. So de-stress, relax, keep yourself calm, and get yourself out there looking for new opportunities, because they are there and you will find them. Whether it's a new job, new hobbies, new relationship, you have options. And the willpower and the energy to follow them. So do it. So those of you that chose number 2, the tree, that's your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want a private reading with me, you can get one. It's at oaktreetarotreader@gmail.com. Otherwise, I really hope you enjoyed the reading. Please like, comment and subscribe. Very importantly, take very good care of yourself. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye. Okay then, so last but not least, number 3, the letters. How can you deal with the stress of this? I'm recording this in April 2020, sort of in the beginning or midst, whatever phase we are in with coronavirus. So the slant on this is to deal with the stress of that, being locked down, having restrictions, as it's per the introduction. But I am going to also read it that you might have found this video in the future, because it is a timeless reading, and you might be undergoing a different type of stress for a different type of reason. But first of all, how do you deal with the stress of what's going on is this time is meant for you to learn something. You're meant to learn a new skill, a new way of living, learn something about yourself, to put into practice something you've learned or in the process of learning. You're not a master at it. It's a very new skill, or one that you've learned a little bit about, not done much with for a long time, and now are. You're very much a page energy in this particular thing. And I think it's for a lot of you to do with healing. This is a time for you to heal, to take time out to repair a few things, and this could be mentally, emotionally or physically. It's time out for you. So that's how you've got to look at it. It's like a little bit of rehab, a little bit of a spa experience. But it's also a point where through this healing that you're learning about yourself, that you're learning to heal, you're learning about lots of different things, and you're meant to let it. This is like a life journey for you. So you must look at what's going on in your life, whatever it is, as a process of a life lesson. The one that you will use to heal issues that you have or have had in the past. That you're sort of completing a karmic cycle, I feel, for a lot of you, where you're just now at the beginning of something new. It might be frightening to you. It's probably scary. It's probably intimidating, hence the stress. You're uncertain. The future now is uncertain for... Excuse me. Excuse me. The future is now uncertain for you. You're not sure what direction that you're going in. But the direction is going to becoming clear, because I feel meditating on it. You're being quiet. You're thinking... you know, it can be just lying there in bed or on your bed in the quiet thinking, well, that's been and done. I've finished. What next? What's coming for me next? What shall I do next? How do I start my next cycle, my next life lesson, my next journey in life? And it's going to come to you, and this is time for you to plan. And this is how you're going to cope with the stress. A lot of stress comes from feeling helpless. And an obvious answer to that is to be helpful, is to help yourself, is to come to an understanding of something and to move forward. And I feel that's what you're going to do. A lot of you have immense drive, have great planning skills. You know, in the Chariot, it's about determination, having a plan, about moving forward with energy, with drive. It's two horses tethered to a chariot. You've got to be able to control it. Otherwise, it's going to run rampant. And that's the whole point of it, is that Boudicca here, or Boudica, I think it should be Boudica, shouldn't it? That's revealing my age. Boudica here is in control of the chariot because she knows where she's going. She's got her eyes on her destination. So she can control the horses, which I would say is, the horses is representative of the direction your life is taking. You can control that because you're taking time out to meditate and heal over it. You're keeping yourself peaceful and calm through quietness, and some of you dealing with past issues. And you're willing to move forward as a student with an uncertainty of a basic knowledge of what could be, but not the full knowledge. You're going to go and learn it on the way. And this is going to help you to wipe out the stress, because you're taking control, but with a knowledge that you're not fully in control. Because that's all this is largely our lives, where we're not really in control of anything. There's too many variables, but we have a measure of control, and where we can move forward and deal with those variables while still maintaining our course. And I think this is what you're going to learn during this period of stress. That you don't really have the control, but what you really do have is a sense of purpose and an eye on your final destination. So however long it takes you to get there, whatever route you take to get there, it doesn't matter, because you are getting there. And everything will be all right on the way. Because it's just, you know, another curve on the route. And another one. And then they bring a trap on you where you've got to stop and move a few boxes out of the road so you can carry on. This is how you deal with the stress. Heal, learn, move forward with your eye on the final goal. So this is just a blip. This stress, whatever's caused it, it's just a blip. And it's going to be over, because you're going to manage to cope with it and overturn it. So that's your reading, those of you that chose number 3. A nice, sweet one. I'm very pleased with how these readings have gone. I hope that it's helped you. Please like, comment and subscribe. If you want a private reading with me, you can, of course, get one. Just send me an email, oaktreetarotreader@gmail.com. Otherwise, I shall leave you with your reading, and please take very good care of yourself. Thank you very much for listening to me, and goodbye.